Hello Virgo, welcome to your November Tarotscope. So I have a single card for you for the month of November. The first 2/3 of November is Scorpio season, and then towards the end of the month we'll be into Sagittarius season. So the card that I have for you this month is the Queen of Swords. So this is the way she looks the right way up. We have this woman here. She's dressed in this fine red robe. She's holding the sword up, and above there's this kind of red sweeping kind of shape above there, and then a little butterfly down there. So lots of blues and reds. Queen of Swords. And I'm just going to go to the giant book, see what Queen of Swords has for you this month. Okay, here we go, Virgo. Queen of Swords. Conscious living. The Queen of Swords has two faces. She is a stern judge, and at the same time a cheerful elf queen embodied in the picture by the red being, superego, ghost, or conscience above her and the butterfly below. One of the most splendid tasks of the suit of swords is to reveal alternative ways to realize your unfulfilled needs. Use the weapons of your mind to liberate yourself from internal and external constraints. Stand up for yourself. Do not be impressed by superficialities or delusions. Refine your power of discernment. The Queen's lofty location in a cloud constitutes a warning to beware of castles built in the air and of other pipe dreams. In a more positive sense, the image indicates that the realm of the mind is a world of its own with special opportunities. It celebrates the capacity to recognize and to define vague desires or fears. One of the major strengths of this mistress of perception lies in dispelling unfounded fears. Prejudices and fears constitute self-imposed obstacles and may prove to be unfounded when carefully analyzed. In other cases, they express authentic needs and experiences which cannot be communicated in any other way. Swords as weapons of the mind have the power to develop and refine our mental capacities. Being able to discern and assess experiences that have previously gone unnoticed, about which you were ignorant, is an important aspect of that power. Practical advice. Ensure clarity in your decisions and your behavior. If necessary, use a magnifying glass or a pair of binoculars to look at your concerns from all possible angles. Refine love, longing, and passion. This is a card of release from your fears and of new openings in matters of the heart. Okay, so this card is very much talking about using your mind and the powers of discernment in order to kind of navigate often what is the realm of emotion of fear and desire. So fear and desire they're larger concepts than just emotion, but they certainly are very emotionally loaded. So when we desire things, we have very strong emotional connection to them, of longing, of joy, of passion. And when we fear something, then we have that anxiety and that revulsion or whatever it is, or anger if we're forced to be around it. So though desire and fear are large concepts, they certainly have a lot of emotional load. And this particular season, in Scorpio season, Scorpio is very much an intense sign. And so the concepts of fear and desire are very scorpionic, where Scorpio is very much concerned with passion and desire, but also about release, letting things go. And a lot of the time, there's a lot of fear associated with letting things go. So Scorpio season is very much about this dynamic, this polarity of desire and fear, where you want to have, and yet you also have to learn how to let go and what that cycle looks like. The scorpionic cycle involves the life and death cycle. So the having and the letting go, which allows for more space for the having again and then letting go. So that energy has to keep flowing. So that's kind of this energy of the beginning of this month, or the first 2/3 of the month in Scorpio season, where those kinds of ideas of desire and passion and release and allowing that energy to flow is going to be coming up a lot more, both in your life and in other people's lives. There's also this theme of bringing up from the depths what has been hidden or repressed in order to transmute it and have a little bit more healing and understanding about it. Which also, if we repress things, that often is both loaded with fear and desire. Sometimes we repress what we desire. Often we repress what we fear or has been traumatized. And so when it comes up, we, again, are faced with a lot of these kinds of concerns. And the Queen of Swords is here to say, I've got this. You know what? The queen has a lot of mastery, a lot of discernment. She's not charging in a masculine kind of way that like the King of Swords might. She's just there to sort of see it all and dispense her wisdom and be discerning and allow things to come to her in order for her to use that discernment. So the Queen of Swords is really sitting in that current of emotion, of desire and fear, letting it in, receiving it in that feminine receptivity, and then using her powers of the mind, not to kill or destroy, not to cut away fear, not to make any of that sort of destructive use of the swords, but just to understand it, just to then have that discernment, which then we can act on and make conscientious choices with. So there's this kind of feeling of this month of sitting yourself in the current of the upwelling of whatever may be coming up, of the fear, desire, longing, all of those strong feelings. And then what do I think about this? I can use discernment here. Discernment, which is not the same as being hyper critical. So Virgo, one of your discernment is already usually a pretty strong trait for you, of being able to see into the details and get critical about things. But you want to make sure that that discernment is staying on that positive end, where it's not so, like, there's judgment, yes, but not shame. It's the judgment of the discernment of this is judging it to be this way or to be in this right place or not, rather than judging of this like this shame thing of this is good and bad. It's more like this is useful or in its right place or not. So try to not give into that tendency to over fixate on being really critical or overthinking, and being like in that cycle of, oh, if these emotions are coming, oh, well, what do I do with this? Well, I think about this, and oh, well, maybe it should be this way, or well, I really want this, and oh, like that cycle of overthinking. That's a kind of poor use of the sword, where you're just stabbing yourself with it over and over again. So try to keep that down to a minimum, and instead just allowing this sort of calm, like look at how chill she is. Like she's got her sword. She's like, nothing's really fussing her. She's sitting down. She's ready to receive whatever's going to be coming up. And so, as I said, that Scorpio season is going to be this upwelling of what has been hidden and those bringing up those strong, intense emotions. And then Sagittarius season is kind of like that's when we get to use the judgment, because Sagittarius is about truth and is really interested in finding what is true in a very holistic sense, and connected to kind of our higher mode of thinking, like our philosophizing, our beliefs, rather than just our kind of day-to-day, I think I want to do this, I think I want to do that. It's, what do I believe to be true? What are my really true desires? What do I think about those desires? How do I feel? Like that kind of meta thinking and that larger overarching truth. So if we see in the first 2/3 of the month, if that's when you're kind of sitting in this kind of queen spot of feeling and allowing whatever comes up and just being with it first, for Scorpio season, just being like, what is it? Let's just experience it before we then have to think about it. Be okay, discerning, be curious about what's coming up, and then towards the end of the month, that's when we get a lot more clarity, when Sagittarius shines that kind of truth light on things. We're like, okay, we experienced it all, we survived it. That in and of itself gives us a greater confidence in our resiliency to say, wow, that was intense, but like, I was okay, which means I now believe that I will be okay, and I can be okay in the future if other things come up. And then you're a bit more willing to sit in that position and handle whatever. I might even be even more curious to like actively go in and, oh, was there anything else here? Was there anything else that was repressed? What else can I, that confidence gives you more enthusiasm to do this more regularly. And then you can start to dispense a little bit more judgment of what are your fears and desires, and then what decisions do you get to make? So at the end of the month, it's like decision time. What do I want to do about all of this stuff that I have discovered about myself or discovered about the environment that I'm in? And yeah, making sure that that's authentic to what is real for you, and not just, oh, I think I should do it this way, or, oh, I believe that I ought to make this judgment, or this is the way things should be based on somebody else's storyline, parental expectations, cultural expectations, societal kind of rules. The shoulds are usually not our voice, or they're like our kind of overcritical voice. And often that is tied more to what we've been taught or told rather than what we truly really feel and desire, because then it's more like, oh, I get to, I want to, I'm going to, instead of, oh, I should, I'm being kind of forced to. So even that language shift kind of can help guide where that thought is coming from. So that's kind of what's happening for you this month. So best of luck. And it does feel like you're pretty well resourced for this. Like the Queen of Swords, the Queen's of serious business. She knows her realm. She's not just a little page or a little newbie here. She's like, I'm good, I got this. So I have every faith in you, Virgo. If you do want any additional support, especially with a bit more information on the planetary transits that are going to be happening in Scorpio season, there's lots going on, including a couple eclipses. So do check out my my Scorpio season pay what you can forecast. It's up and available on the YouTube channel and my website. So do check that out, and I appreciate all of your lovely donations. They help me keep creating this content for you. So best of luck to you, Virgo, this month, and I will see you next time.